Alright. Good afternoon to you guys. We're on Job chapter 6. I got Jesus Calling from my best friend last year. And I made a New Year's resolution to read it every day. And I, a couple weeks ago, found this and forgot I was going to read it on here. But I thought it was really important. It really spoke to me at the time. Because often we go to that place, where we think about our kids and wish we had them back and wish we had done something different. And as I'm sure a lot of you got PTSD from it. And no, like my mom thought, PTSD is not just for soldiers. It's for anybody who's been through a traumatic, life-altering just occurrence in your life. And my 4 kids getting ripped out of my arms was basically that. And even though it happened slowly, one child at a time, it still was extremely painful. And okay, sorry, my dog started barking. So sorry, you guys know I get to talking about this and I just kind of lose my brain a little bit. But I mean, it's hard. It's excruciating. It's, whether it's by death or somebody else taking it from you, parents should never lose their child. Unless they're awful parents, and then I get it. If the kids are in danger, that's one thing. But the courts being the way they are, they don't want to acknowledge what's going on. They just want to say, oh no, you're just nuts, and give them to the father. Or no, you're just a bad mom or a bad dad or whatever, and not listen. So anyway, out of all that, so I thought this was, when you get in that moment, this really helps. It says, keep your eyes on me. Waves of adversity are washing over you, and you feel tempted to give up. As your circumstances consume more and more of your attention, you are losing sight of me. Yet I am always with you, holding you by your right hand. I am fully aware of your situation, and I will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to bear. And when I read that, I thought, well, yeah, Jesus was tempted in the Bible. And they say he was tempted with everything that we go through. And he denied the devil. Because he's perfect. He's God. We couldn't do that because we're human. And I thought, but he never had to go through the tribulation of losing his kids. And then all of a sudden it struck me, it's like, well, yeah, he's God. So yeah, he did. And that made it made it hurt my heart to know that what we feel without our kids and how loving God is and how his love is so much more than ours. If we can hurt this much, imagine how much it hurts to be him and not have your child believe in you and your child love you. Because we're all his children. So that just really, I never thought about it that way. Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. If you try to carry tomorrow's burdens today, you will stagger under the load and eventually fall flat. You must discipline yourself to live within the boundaries of today. It is the present moment that I walk close to you. Or excuse me, it is in this present moment that I walk close to you, helping you carry your burdens. Keep your focus on my presence in the present. And then it has 3 Bible verses. And then we'll get into chapter 6. And it's a short chapter, so it won't take us that long. Okay. Psalm 73:23. Nevertheless, I am continually with you. You hold me by my right hand. And that right hand, it gets brought up a lot in the Bible, and it's, I believe it's a show of, like, royalty or something. I don't remember what it is, but it's a big deal that it's his right hand. Just like when Jesus went to heaven, he sat at the right hand of God. Or sat in the throne at the right hand of God. So that right hand has a lot of meaning in the Bible. So to say that he's giving us his right hand means a lot. Okay, 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. I need to remember that when I crave sweets. He gives us nothing that we can't bear. And we can always put it all on his shoulders. 13. This is Hebrews 3:13. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. Okay. Now we'll go on to Job 6. And now Job is going to make his reply to what Eliphaz has said to him. He says, "Oh, my vexation are weighed." Sure, okay. And vexation is the state of being annoyed, frustrated, or worried. Okay. So, and I'm sure all of us who have had a loss, especially a substantial loss like children, have thought about that. Have said, maybe, and we won't do it, or I didn't do it, but I sure thought about it. Because you are in such a high sense of loss and in so much despair, you can't see a way out of it without God. And that's the key. When you have God, and you know that He's beside you, and then know that He's getting you up every morning, and that He's helping you, and He's carrying your burden, it helps, and you eventually work your way out of it. Okay, so for verse 10, New Living Translation says, "At least I can take comfort in this. Despite the pain, I have not denied the words of the Holy One." So even through all the pain that he's going through right now, he's not forsaking God. He still has faith in God. He still knows that God is with him and God is helping him. And that's what we need to remember too. trying to see. I wrote down a verse of Deuteronomy 29:20, but I didn't write down which verse it went with. It says, the Lord would not spare him, for then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy would burn against that man, and every curse that is written in this book would settle on him. And the Lord would blot out his name from under heaven. And I think that's talking about the person that forsakes God, I believe. Well, let's see as we go through this. Usually I put a little note here and I didn't, so I'm sorry. Okay. So where were we? What is my strength that I should wait? And what is my end that I should be patient? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh bronze? Have I any help in me when resource is driven from me? And so he's wanting help and knowing that help has to come from God. That's the only thing that can give him strength and help him. He reproves his friends as unkind in verse 14 to 30. So he who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. So, in that, the Matthew Henry's Concise Commentary, I highlighted in here, where it says, Job still justifies himself in his complaints. In addition to outward troubles, the inward sense of God's wrath took away all his courage and resolution. The feeling sense of the wrath of God is harder to bear than any outward afflictions. And Job had desired death as a happy means of his miseries, or happy end of his miseries. For this Eliphaz had reproved him, but he asked for it again with more vehemence than before. It was very rash to speak thus of God destroying him, who for 1 hour could endure the wrath of the Almighty, if he let loose his hand against him. Let us rather say with David, O spare me a little. Job grounds his comfort upon the testimony of his conscience, that he had been in some degree serviceable of the glory of God, thus who have grace in them, who have evidence of it, and have it in exercise, have wisdom in them, which will be their help in the worst of times. So now as we go on to him reproving his friends, or him, telling his friends are horrible friends. It says, my brothers are treacherous as a torrent bed, as torrent streams, that pass away, which are dark with ice, and where the snow hides itself. When they melt, they disappear. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. I put a note, my old friends, because that's exactly what they did. They said, okay, sorry, this is too much drama for us. And poof, they were gone. Literally every single one of my friends. So, that's difficult too, when you have no support system in your friends at all. So I feel really sorry for Job that he had to deal with that, and I hope you don't. I hope your friends are sticking by you and are better friends than mine were. The caravans turn aside from their course. They go up into the waste and perish. The caravans of, I don't know if it's Tem or Tema. Look, the travelers of Sheba hope. They are ashamed because they were confident. They come there and are disappointed. For you have now become nothing. You see my almighty and are afraid. Or, excuse me, my calamity and are afraid. Sorry. Have I said, make me a gift? Or from the wealth offer a bribe for me? He's not asking anything of his friends other than for them to act like his friends. And give him some support. And be there for him. I'm trying to make sure I get, okay. Or deliver me from the adversary's hand. Or redeem me from the hand of the ruthless. See, he's not asking for any of that. Teach me and I will be silent. Make me understand how I have gone astray. Or he's saying, okay, if I, lost your friendship for some reason, or this happened to me for some reason, or whatever, tell me what that is. And like I said before, there's nothing to say that Job did anything for this. He didn't do anything for this. This is the devil just attacking to attack and try and turn him against God like he does all of us. Okay. So the next section, or the rest of this, I also wrote down the New Living Translation. So I will read it fully and then read it in that, because I really like the way that the words that they have here. How forceful are our upright words? But what is reproof from you? Reprove. Do you think that you can reprove words when the speech of a despairing man is wind? You would even cast lots over the fatherless and bargain over your friend. But now be pleased and look at me, for I will not lie to your face. Please turn. Let no injustice be done. Turn now, my vindication is at stake. Is there any injustice on my tongue? Can my palate discern the cause of calamity? Now the New Living Translation. Honest words can be painful, but what do your criticisms amount to? Do you think your words are convincing when you disregard my cry for desperation? You would even send an orphan into slavery or sell a friend. Look at me. Would I lie to your face? Stop assuming my guilt, for I have done no wrong. Do you think I am lying? Don't you know the difference between don't I know the difference between right and wrong? Which, if our friends aren't standing by us, all of that rings true. Friends are supposed to stick by us and help us. And I had a verse here about that. Bear one another's burdens, so fulfill the law of Christ. Remember that's Galatians 6:2 and Hebrews 13:3. Remember the prisoners as if chained with them, those who are mistreated, since you yourselves are the body also. So even God is telling, one of God's biggest commands is love. To show love one another. Love your neighbor as yourself. And that's what we're called to do. We're not called to judge them. We're not called to tell them what they did wrong and to point out all these things to them, or to agree with the other person, or, if you agree with the other person, if it's something about sin, then yeah, we're supposed to tell them, we're supposed to call out their sin lovingly, but call it out. And just say, I had a thing with my friends the other day, or a couple weeks ago, and they were arguing. And they had asked my opinion, and I told them flat out. I'm like, okay, well, you were a little harsh with this, but you were a little oversensitive with this. So that's what we're called to do. We're to be there for them and help them. But, if something is going against God, then you take them aside and say, you know what? I think this is going to cause you problems, or I don't think God would like this, which I know is a very hard thing to do with friends. And I don't do it all the time. Because I don't like to stir the pot and make other people upset with me and stuff like that. So I'm working through that. But at the same time, we're not called to act like this. So we need to remember that. We need to remember to go first with love before, we call out any sin that they may have. And if they're going through trials and tribulations, yeah, you can point out and say, maybe God's trying to change this about your heart, or, but foremost, we are there to be close to them and be a sounding board and just help them. It may be just listening. It may be letting them cry on your shoulder. It may be trying to, if they're having problems with alcoholism, it may be, taking them out to the movies or something to keep them from going to the bars, or inviting them over and just loving on them. Anything but this. So let's see what Matthew Henry has to say about this. I have 2 things highlighted here. It often happens that even when we expect little from man, we have less. But from God, even more we expect from, we have more. Though Job differed from them, yet he was ready to yield as soon as it was able to appear, or made to appear, that he was in error. Though Job had been in fault, yet... Wait a minute. Though Job had been in fault, yet there ought not to be given him such hard usage. So he's saying the same thing. Even if he was at fault, you need to tell him lovingly, don't be so hard on him. His righteousness he holds fast and will not let it go. So he hasn't done anything wrong. He felt that there had not been such an iniquity in him as they supposed. But it is best to commit our characters to him who keeps our souls. Oops, sorry guys. In the great day, every upright believer shall have praise of God. So, next time we'll hear how Job is still talking and complaining about his troubles. And then he's going to turn to God